What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Gifted Gamer 204 back at it again. And yes, you guessed right. Today, we got another banger for y'all, man. So if you're new to the channel, please don't hesitate to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that share button as we keep on rolling right into today's video. Now, in this particular video, I want to touch on two particular topics, right? One being, you know, the question I asked the question, should Microsoft have any interest in buying Ubisoft? Okay, so we're gonna get into that. And we also have quote unquote a new project being called Project Delta being made over at Sony, right? So we're also gonna speak on that as well. Okay, so we're gonna get right into these topics. Okay, so I won't make this video too long. um so because I do have to read these articles. All right, so let's get right into it, ladies and gentlemen. So with the first topic at hand, okay, here we go, people. um we take you over to purexbox.com, and this is what it says. Okay, Ubisoft IP could cost buyers more than the company itself, says report. Okay, earlier this week, we heard that Microsoft has seemingly held talks with Ubisoft about buying some of the French company's gaming IP. And a fresh report tells us that purchasing these franchises could likely cost a pretty penny for the Xbox owner if they were to go ahead and pick anything up. By the way, by way of a new report, from outlet Bloomberg, it said that Ubisoft is looking to invite investments into a new entity containing some of its big IPs, including Assassin's Creed. It appears that how these franchises will divide and share is still unclear, but the yet to be formed IP unit could be priced higher than the size of the main company, it's said. Okay, keep that in mind. Let's keep going. Picking this information apart, what it's basically saying is that Ubisoft's founder gathered up all of its big game series to sell off. That collection of franchises could cost more than buying Ubisoft outright. It seems that a big decision about which direction to go in hasn't been made just yet, but the report notes that Ubisoft is keen for bids to be made as soon as this month. Okay? So they quote here, right? The company is considering selling a minority stake in the venture and has contacted potential bidders, including current shareholder Tencent Holdings Ltd. And funds globally and in France, where Ubisoft is based, the people said. Ubisoft has asked for preliminary bids to be made as soon as this month, the people added, asking not to be identified, discussing a private matter, close quote. So to finish up here, we haven't heard anything directly from either Ubisoft or Microsoft about whether the Xbox owner is actually interested in buying any of this stuff. So it's probably not worth expecting anything for now. Multiple reports on this have hinted that Tencent is in the driving seat here, and we'll continue to see how this story unfolds in the coming months. So that's it for the article right there. As far as this whole report goes, you know, if Microsoft was to actually buy and purchase the entire Ubisoft, I think it should be, you know, spoken of amongst, you know, the peers within the gaming industry. I don't think it will be a fair thing to do. I don't think it's right to let Microsoft now go ahead and purchase, you know, another third party developer, now being Ubisoft. If they were to do this, they would pretty much be basically owning almost the entire gaming industry. When we all look at everything that they've acquired from ZeniMax, ABK, now Ubisoft, you know, it's just something that doesn't sit right with me. And they should not let this happen. If it is Microsoft that is really like pushing towards acquiring it, they should not let this happen. Because even if they're saying here that, um purchasing specific franchises will cost more than just buying the entire Ubisoft outright, you know, we all know Microsoft has all the money. We all know Microsoft does not care what it will take, what it costs. You know, they will buy their way up there, whatever it takes. Is what Microsoft goes by, right? Whatever it takes. So, um, with that being said, I'm not gonna get too far into it, because we will be discussing this today, on the live stream. So if you are new, please consider subscribing because we do go live Monday through Friday. Usually try to go for 11 a.m. Eastern time. So we will be discussing this later on today in the stream. So I'm gonna leave this article right here. You let me know how you feel about this. Let me know if this is right. If you think this is fair. And let's continue to see how this story unfolds, right? We have to pay close attention to this. So we're just gonna leave it here and we're gonna move on to the next topic, okay? So y'all let me know how y'all feel about that one. So in the second topic of today's video, people, we cross over to Sony. And here we are. People Can Fly reaches agreement to develop a new game based on Sony's IPs, okay? Very key. So it reads, Pilot's developer People Can Fly announced today a new agreement with Sony to develop a prototype based on one of the PlayStation company's franchises. The game's codename is Project Delta, which really doesn't give away much. The production agreement provides that work on the product will be carried out in the so-called work for hire model, i.e., work performed by the company as a developer on commissioned by and on behalf of the publisher, in return for which the company will receive from the publisher an agreed remuneration. Okay, so it continues on. Okay, sorry about that. I'm not sure what happened here. Sorry about that. Okay. In accordance with the production agreement, work on the product will be divided into stages, milestones. So, the detailed terms and conditions of cooperation between the parties regarding the implementation of and payments for milestones are set out in appendix to the production agreement, which is the milestone schedule, right? The scope and provisions of the production agreement do not deviate from the provisions of the production agreement. People Can Fly is far from new to this kind of collaboration. In June 2023, we learned that they had partnered with Microsoft to create a game based on one of their IPs. Given their past, they worked with Epic on the original Gears of War trilogy and even led development of the 2013 spin-off Gears of War Judgment. It was a safe bet that it will be another Gears title. Indeed, in late January, it was confirmed that the game is Gears of War E-Day, co-developed with the Coalition. Excuse me. There's no mention of the project budget here, though unlike with the Microsoft collaboration. Anyway, the studio's pedigree sits squarely in the shooter genre, with games like Painkiller, Bulletstorm, and Outriders in their development history. As such, PlayStation fans are already hoping that Sony has provided the green light for a new Resistance or Killzone game, since Insomniac and Guerrilla Games are now busy with other work. Both sci-fi franchises have languished over a decade despite having very interesting settings, okay? So, in other People Can Fly news, the Pilot Studio recently announced that it will phase out its publishing business of virtual reality games, citing the lack of investments in the area even from the VR platform holders. The developer will now focus on traditional AAA development, whether with self-publishing, work for hire, or co-development models, okay? And that is the article. Um, you know, great news. As soon as I read this, as soon as they said that is from one of PlayStation's company's franchises, sounds like music to my ears, because it means that they're bringing, one of their legendary franchises back to life. Okay, right off the back. I'm pretty sure that's what everybody is thinking already. So they said here, right? They did with the latest one. They did Outriders. I don't know if most of y'all played Outriders, but me myself personally, I did enjoy it, even though it had a lot of bugs, right? There was multiple times that I wasn't even able to play the game Outriders. But as I'm like putting the bugs to the side, I'm just speaking of the gameplay, right? Just the game Outriders and what they were trying to go for and things like that. I felt it was a great game. I had a really fun time playing the campaign with the co-op campaign, right? So, it sounds like a good collaboration is coming along, right? So they're mentioning also here, which franchise could it potentially be? They're saying Resistance. They're saying Killzone. All right. Um, I'm gonna throw out two other ones, right? There's also being thrown out there, Warhawk, and also, the one that I personally feel that is the one that they're working on is SOCOM, right? So, um, I just don't see them doing a Killzone, and I don't see them doing Resistance, right? Insomniac and Guerrilla Games, they're busy doing other things. I just don't see it, right? I don't see it. And um Gorilla has said that they moved on from that franchise. So, you know, what's to what's for us to say, sit here and think, oh, they've came back from that certain idea and now they want to push forward with a new Killzone or something. So I believe it's going to be SOCOM, um, which is fantastic. And you know, this is just great news, right? This is just great news all around. Whichever game they do decide to bring back, hopefully everybody decides to get on board with it and support it, right? Because this is what people been asking for. Okay. So I'm gonna leave this right here. I'm not gonna go too much in depth in this with my predictions and things like that. We will discuss this as well later on in the show today, on the live show. So, but y'all let me know how y'all feel about this particular article, right? Which franchises do you want to see make a comeback? You know, from these PlayStation titles, right? And do you like the idea of it? Okay, or would you prefer just to move on and have People Can Fly create something new and fresh for PlayStation? All right. So with that being said, thank y'all so much. If you are new and you did enjoy what you saw here today, please consider subscribing to the channel, as we do daily live shows Monday through Friday where we can discuss all these topics more in depth. Um, like the video and share the video if you have people that are interested in the gaming world, the gaming news. We do gameplay as well. We have members streams only as well. So, um, thank y'all so much for taking time out and rocking with your boy. It is your boy, the gifted one here, and I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one. I'm